The 1920s in America were marked by booming prosperity, with the stock market reaching new heights. People from all walks of life, from shoe shiners to office workers, were investing in stocks, encouraged by major banks. But as the market reached its peak, experts began to warn of an impending collapse. In October 1929, it happened. Black Thursday and Black Tuesday shattered the economy, wiping out billions of dollars and plunging the nation into the Great Depression. Banks failed, businesses closed, and unemployment skyrocketed. By 1930, 25% of Americans were out of work, and homelessness and hunger became widespread. Desperate citizens sold their belongings for next to nothing, while others stood in line at banks, hoping to withdraw whatever savings they had left, only to find the banks had run dry. Amid the devastation, America needed a leader who could restore hope, and Franklin D. Roosevelt emerged as that figure. A polio survivor, Roosevelt campaigned on a platform of economic recovery and the promise of relief for suffering Americans. In 1932, he was elected president in a landslide victory. Upon taking office in 1933, Roosevelt's first priority was restoring confidence in the banking system. He passed the Emergency Banking Act, which allowed banks to receive financial support from the public treasury, restoring trust in the financial system. By March 1933, banks were reopening, and people were once again depositing their savings, marking the beginning of Roosevelt's New Deal, a series of reforms aimed at tackling unemployment and economic stagnation. The New Deal brought about major infrastructure projects, putting millions of Americans back to work. Roads, schools, and even the Grand Coulee Dam were built, creating thousands of jobs and boosting the economy. Roosevelt also established the Civilian Conservation Corps, employing young men in public works for $25 a month. In total, $7 billion was invested in these projects, revitalizing the economy and providing critical support for those in need. Along with the New Deal's public works programs, Roosevelt focused on regulating the banking and stock markets, setting up the Securities and Exchange Commission to oversee the stock exchange and ensure that future financial crises could be avoided. One of the most significant changes under Roosevelt's leadership was the end of Prohibition. For over a decade, the production and sale of alcohol had been banned in the United States, but Roosevelt saw an opportunity to generate tax revenue and create jobs by legalizing liquor. The 21st Amendment was passed in 1933, repealing the 18th Amendment and ending Prohibition. Bars reopened, and the American people celebrated the return of legal alcohol, while the government began to benefit from the new tax revenue. However, the end of Prohibition also fueled the rise of organized crime, with gangsters like Al Capone dominating the illegal alcohol trade. Capone's reign of terror in Chicago became infamous, and his ruthless tactics, including the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, made him a feared figure. Despite his criminal empire, Capone gained public sympathy for his charity work, earning him the nickname Robin Hood of Chicago. His empire thrived in the midst of the economic chaos of the Depression, and the government's struggle to contain the mafia became a symbol of the broader challenges of the era. By 1936, Roosevelt was re-elected in a landslide victory, but America's recovery was far from complete. Roosevelt's New Deal had begun to restore some stability, but the country was still struggling with high unemployment and widespread poverty. Roosevelt would go on to serve 4 terms, breaking the tradition of 2-term presidencies, and guiding America through its darkest days. His leadership helped pull the nation out of the Great Depression, but it wasn't without its challenges. The world was soon plunged into World War II, and Roosevelt's leadership would once again be tested as he navigated America's involvement in the global conflict. Roosevelt's response to the Great Depression was transformative, changing the course of American history. His New Deal reshaped the economy, providing relief, reform, and recovery to a nation in crisis. His leadership during the war would define his legacy, but his ability to guide America through the Depression remains one of his most enduring achievements. The nation's recovery was not just about economic policy, it was about restoring hope and confidence in the American people, and Roosevelt's vision and determination were critical in turning the tide of history. As America emerged from the Great Depression, the lessons learned during that time would continue to influence the nation's policies and values for generations. Roosevelt's New Deal programs helped to lay the foundation for modern social safety nets, including Social Security and unemployment insurance, which continue to support millions of Americans today. Roosevelt's leadership during the Depression was a defining moment in American history, and his vision for the future of the nation would resonate long after his time in office.